The last great pagan warrior tribe in Ireland was called the Fianna. And their last and greatest leader was a man named Finn McCool. Finn had a son named Etain, and Etain had a son named Oscar. Finn doted on his grandson, just gave him everything. And so Oscar grew to be a spoiled, fussy, whiny little brat. One day, when Oscar was about 12 years old, the great horn of the Fianna sounded, summoning the tribe to war. Over the waves came an entire Roman legion. The men lined up on the hillside, while the Romans formed ranks on the beach. Finn sounded the charge, the Fianna rushed down the hill, and they got slaughtered. Fully a third of the men lay dead or wounded on the sand. On the next hill over, sitting under a huge ancient oak tree, looking out over the fight, was Oscar. And he was having a grand old time. All these men dying, just to amuse me. Oh, in all the world there was only one man that had the courage to say no to the grandson of Finn McCool. So there was really only one man that Oscar truly respected: his father, Etain. As Etain approached the Roman lines, a spear shot up over the shields, struck him in the thigh. He fell wounded onto the ground. When Oscar saw his father's blood run, he felt the fire rise up inside. In that moment, he set aside the ways of his youth, and he became a man. He reached above his head, grabbed a great branch of that tree, and ripped it off. He peeled the bark and side branches. Now he held a club 8 foot long. He charged down the hill toward the Roman lines. Boom! Men went flying. Boom! 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 And the Romans dropped their weapons, ran back to their ships, and sailed away as quickly as they could. An entire Roman legion defeated by a single man. Time went on. Oscar grew to be a man of strength and courage. In the east of Ireland lived another man named Angus Og. Angus was the king of the elves at the Sidhe at Brunaboyne, and Angus had a very big problem. His daughter, Etain of the braided golden hair, was the most gorgeous woman that had ever set foot upon the face of the earth. Angus knew, I have got to get that girl married off, or there will be no end of trouble to it. And so he announced a competition. The winner will receive my daughter's hand in marriage. There were contests of strength and speed, wit and cunning. In the end, there were only 2 men left: the son of the King of Ireland and Oscar. Angus smiled at the two. Last test will be the hardest. I would not give my daughter to any man without her consent. And so, for your final test, you must answer to Etain herself. Etain stepped forward, turned first to the son of the King of Ireland. Young man, if I choose you, what will you give me? My lady, on our wedding day, you will receive your own weight in solid gold. You would have me, on my own wedding day, announce to the entire world My weight? Even better, my lady. I am a prince of humans. You are a princess of elves. We are joined together. Our two great kingdoms will become one, and our children will rule an empire. You speak to me of politics and money. How very human of you. She turned next to Oscar. And you, young man, what would you give me? My lady, you are a princess of Elfland. There is only one thing I own that you do not already possess. And what is that? My heart. I offer it to you with the promise that I will never leave you until you leave me first. How utterly charming. Father, I believe I'll take that one, thank you. Oscar and Etain were married that very day. Years passed. Finn grew older. He realized the time had come for him to choose a successor, and so he called his 4 finest warriors. There was Diarmid, Finn's own son Etain, Conan Sheepback, the son of Finn's mortal enemy, but the strongest man in all the Fianna. And finally there was Oscar. Finn looked at the men. Simple test, as befits a warrior. Just one question. Tell me, what sound is best in all the world? Diarmid, you first. It is easy, my lord. It is the sound of a young woman sighing as she falls in love with me. Aren't we full of ourselves today? Etain, you next. What sound is best? That is easy, father. It is the sound of the birds singing for joy at the sight of the first flower of spring. You have been spending too much time with the fairies. You and I will have to have a little talk about that later. Conan, you next. What sound is best? It is easy, my lord. It is the sound of my enemies fleeing before me, and the lamentations of their women. Conan, that's 2 sounds, and just a little bit bloodthirsty, don't you think? Oscar, you are my last hope. Having lived with Etain, Oscar had grown in wisdom and understanding. He realized that the question was not quite what it seemed. The right answer was not what sound Oscar thought best, but what sound Finn thought best. And that was easy. Grandfather, the finest sound in all the world is the sound of your hunting dog, Bran, howling for joy as she flushes a deer out of the thicket for you to hunt. Oscar, nicely done. You will be our new leader. But it was not to be.